Good morning. So since I now in the middle of replaying the Robot Saga, which is supposed to be kind of a basic overview of the Titan situation, both biologically and historically, with regard to the whole 20th century, 21st century. I thought it's in order to very quickly repeat the things that are probably missing from the saga because it's from like a year ago or something like that, or 10 months ago. But when I say it's missing, I mean just the most basic stuff regarding biology. The thing that at the time I did not completely understand, or maybe I just forgot to put it in this saga. So let's make a very quick overview. First of all, as it is mentioned probably somewhere in this series, but I'm not sure, the way to identify, the best way to identify, to differentiate between the Titan and human is by cornea and iris test with age calculation, because the age algorithm that you have is true to humans, but for Titans it will produce different results, probably something between 50 and 25, which might not help you to differentiate the species if the person produces documentation of a person between 15 and 25 and appears that way. But if he or she is younger or older and produces by matching documentation, it's a valid way to differentiate between these people. Don't do behavioral tests. This is something that the Israelis are often doing because they like witch hunt, and it's absolutely terrible. It's a torture, and I mean I cannot stress enough how much horrible are behavioral tests that, as customary in Israel, are conducted by every goon in the street. Like everybody is is an expert, and everybody is authorized by society to conduct these tests just on the street. The results, of this lovely, I would say, traditional ritual is exactly what you think it is: a horrible witch hunt. Now, very basic stuff regarding the T in the body. First, yes, humans and Titans should not have sex. Period. They should just don't have. They should not have sex. There are very good reasons for that, and this was known since the beginning of the 20th century. And predicated on that, is the entire Game of Thrones situation in which Titan females are marrying homosexual pedophile men. So it's not new. It's not new to anybody. It's probably the only thing that people, the first thing people know about is they know the Titans. Nevertheless, while it's not new and very kind of simple to understand, it was never completely obeyed. Never. The reason for that, the reasons are known. The reason because we like to fuck each other. The reasons. I would say the justifications for that, or the presumed justification for that, and the mechanism behind it. The mechanism is pretty much what you know. The social mechanism behind it and the presumed justification for that were changed and evolved along the 20th and 21st century, and they are to some extent described in the Robot Saga, so I'm not going to repeat myself. But it's even more complicated than that, and some more details are given in other series and other standalone videos. The simple, truth is that you should just not do it. Just avoid it. And yes, it is And now we need to understand something. This is true to every kind of sex, including the more bizarre ones that are also like a favorite within this segment of the population. Including things that I did not consider at all sex in the past, but I mean, it should be understood that they should be considered as sex. I mean, tons of all sorts of fluids between people. First of all, from religious perspective, any intimate action, that is done between a man and a woman in the privacy, of a confined, space, is sex. And if one of the sides is receiving money for that action, so this person is a prostitute by definition. And you should avoid prostitution, as famously, as Jesus said, avoid. He didn't give you many. He didn't give you many. Like he replaced the whole, Triad mitzvot of Moses with perhaps 5 or 6 statements. But one of the statements is you should avoid prostitution. And there is a reason. There are very, very, very good reasons for that. You should avoid prostitution. I myself, I admit that one time in my life, I actually went to a prostitute. It was in Bangkok when I was young, and what can I say? It was stupidity. But I was in Bangkok, like in touring Southeast Asia, and yes, one time I've been with a female sex worker in Bangkok. I lament that fact, but as they say, I'm not throwing stones at everybody. I just say you should avoid it. You should just avoid it. This is very bad, and for the Titans, it's all even worse. And when it's like done between Titans and humans, it's even worse. Now, even if the Titan just gives the pee to a man, like in like a battle, presumably there is no prostitution in that. It's still extremely, extremely dangerous, and you should avoid it as well. Now, the biological mechanisms at play here are more complicated than what initially seems, so I'm not going to repeat myself now. I should just say the following, because this is something that certainly is not covered in the robot series, because at the time I did not understand it. These things became clear to me with more scientific examinations and all sorts of other sources during the last year. The T, or the Neos, as they call them, the robots, generally, when they are inside an organism, the organism is the container. They understand what kind of container they exist in. The container can be a glass, can be a can of tuna, can be a clay pot, can be a planet, can be a human, or can be another animal. And they know what kind of container they exist in. And generally, they serve this organism to the best of their understanding. Generally, that's why humans like to eat it, because it serves them. They can also affect how it serves them. For example, they can use the tea in their body to change their body in ways, according to all sorts of ways. And there are other ways. They can do boob jobs or nose jobs, or I don't know, change all sorts of things all sorts of features in their body, and they can even do a complete overhaul. And this was done many times in the past, even though this requires a lot of tea. So generally, the intelligent scientists do not do overhaul like in our days. But it's possible to do a complete overhaul. Like the person will look completely different. This is done, but not very common. Commonly, they just do small stuff. Now, there is an issue of what happens if you have a parasite in your body, and that parasite is of the type that can only also contain the T in their body. So let me know. So in that case, the T, what will they serve, the neos? The parasite, or maybe you, the host? And it's not the same interest. We do not share interest. You do share a little bit of interest with, the parasite shares some interest with you because both of you and the parasite, you want the host to survive. The parasite generally doesn't want the host to die, unless it's a stupid parasite like the Israelis. But this is like an anti-evolutionary kind of parasite, the Israelis, that they want to kill their hosts. But a smart parasite or like a normal functioning parasite does not want the host to die. But but it's not true that they completely share interest, because the host generally don't want the parasite inside of them. So what will these neos? Who would be their master? The parasite or the host? So the answer is the parasite. This is another reason why what you call the trend bacteria, what I call the trend bacteria in most of the videos in this channel, is a little bit of a wicked life form, because this life form contains the T in their body. It's a vehicle for the neos. I use this term many times. I use this term a lot. A vehicle for the neos. A vehicle for the neos, in my terminology, means a life form that contains the neos in their body, like the Full Metal Jacket is, the metal wasp, and also like the trend bacteria. This is a vehicle for the neos, and when the vehicle for the neos is inside another organism, like when you're infected with the trend bacteria. By the way, the trend bacteria does not necessarily need to live inside an organism. It's not like many parasites that you know from Earth that infect humans can only exist inside humans, or maybe cows or things like that. But they don't have any validity. They cannot live outside like a host. This is not true to trend bacteria at all. They can live outside of the host. They can live in the ground, in soil, which makes them a little bit of a problem for Earth, because it is possible. It's not going to happen quickly. It's not going to happen quickly, but it is actually possible, and happened in the past, not in Earth but in other places. It is possible that the entire atmosphere will be infected with the trend bacteria. When I mean atmosphere, maybe atmosphere is not a correct term. I mean the surface of the planet. The upper surface of a planet, not like the skies. The upper surface, it can be infected with trend bacteria, and if this is the situation, then this is Isaiah 34 type of movie. You don't want it. Now, it should be noted that the T that the females have, the Italian females have, is usually very, very small compared to the T that I have, what I call the yellow neos. The red neos are much smaller than the yellow ones. And the red neos are the ones that are very common all over the world. They are what you call the T in general, the red neos, because you can take it from females. Because there are many more females than males. There are absolutely zero males, or almost zero males now. And also, you cannot take it from me, only to a very small extent. And above all, the reason that the yellow neos, this is also to the brown ones. The brown ones are the T of the neos of the males, and and another species, the cherubs, and we have the yellow ones. They start the cycle of they multiply and grow the red ones inside the female bodies. So Hashita, like the method was always, to take the red, the yellows, or the browns from the males, put it in the bodies of the females. This can be done either by just sex or all sort of, how. Yes, this way and the other, and that way as well. And then, the females are, and you have many more females, and you take it from them, like from the Homo sapiens. I don't justify it. This was all, this was all a huge crime of humanity, just so we are clear. I just describe reality, not recommend anything. I do recommend not to do it. But I just describe reality. You took it from the females. So this is what you call the T, is the red neros, and it's very small compared to the yellow ones. Probably you can't even, you can barely watch it in a backlight microscope, barely. And you can easily watch the yellow ones. Like, there are millions of, trillions of, examples in this channel. The fact that it's small doesn't mean that it's not effective. It's just that it's less effective than the yellow ones. But it's still effective in that it can cure you of all sorts of diseases. But it's also a food for the trend bacteria. And it can also create the trend bacteria. Because these things can create life ex nihilo, from the nothing. You might argue, but vivo ex vivo. So no, vivo not ex vivo, and this was proved more than a year ago in this room. It was a very rigorous protocol. Of course, everything is documented in this channel. Life can be created out of non-living material. This was documented rigorously. And one of the protocols was actually very, very similar to the same protocol that was used 300 years ago to presumably prove that vivo ex vivo. It actually was very, very, very similar protocol. Was used 300 years ago to prove exactly the opposite. Yes, funny, yes, very fun. So it can create a trend bacteria, but it can also grow, but it can also be used as food for the trend bacteria, because if the trend bacteria is big enough, although the trend bacteria can arrive in many sizes, unlike most of Earth's microbes. It can go to a huge size, and this was documented and proven beyond any doubt that this life form has a huge range of sizes, which is also true to the neros. So when they fight each other, there's a huge question of how big are they, the combatants? It's like asking yourself, who is stronger? A tiger or a lion? So, but let's imagine that the tigers and lions both can, exist, like in the size of 1 centimeter or 1 kilometer, and everything in between. So the question is, what are their sizes? It's the same with the trend bacteria and the robots. So the smaller ones can actually use this food for the trend bacteria if they are big enough. Now, the yellow ones are huge. They are not going to be food of any trend bacteria. They slaughter them without a problem. This was demonstrated many times, including by evidence, by microscopic evidence, by videos. Though it should be said, it should be said like another. Maybe we will add another very important scientific fact that you need to take into account. The yellows are also much more dangerous to humans and titans, potentially, under some circumstances, because they are huge. So why they are dangerous? Because they are portals. You need to understand something. When you share tea with somebody, you open a portal between your body and their body. So presumably life forms can pass between you, as long as you have the neurons in their body. Like if you don't, you have the matching portals in your body. Yes. Now, since the red ones are small, big life forms, like even the microscopic cells, cannot pass through them. Mostly, unless it's very small ones or like small viruses. Viruses are very small, much smaller than germs. So viruses might pass, and eggs maybe, maybe it can pass eggs through it. But bigger life forms, even in the microscopic cell, cannot pass through the neurons inside your body. Only small life forms, like small microbial life forms and viruses, things like that. In any way, it's alarming, and it should be alarming. And the female, a female titan that shared her T with 1,000 men. So as long as the T in their body exists, because after some time it's flushed from their body, but as long as it exists, she literally have portals from her body to 1,000 men. So presumably, every one of these 1,000 men also have a portal in their body to each of the others. I mean, not directly, but through her. Because she's like a hub, like a super carrier, a super hub. So they can all infect each other with any disease that they have in their body, theoretically. In reality, it doesn't happen, at least not commonly, because there is issue of statistics here, and I mean, the issue of size of the T. It's not going to easily happen. Statistically, it's not going to happen. I mean, the probability for that to happen is very low, because the T is spread in their body, and I mean, and again, they are small, so I mean, so infections are not are not probable. That's why, I mean, if it was if the probability for that was high, I mean, you were all of you were dead long ago. I explain to you now why are you even alive. Because even though you've done this stupidity, because the red neurons are small, the probability for such infections, that I mean, one man will infect the titan, and then she will infect another man, is not that high. But it exists. This exists. And you should know that this is another reason why you should absolutely not share T with humans. Titans and humans should not share T with each other. And titans should share T only with their... Titan females should only share the T with their husbands. That's the way God intended, and for a good reason. For a very good reason. Only with the husband. Yes. For a very good reason. But this is true to the red neurons. The yellow neurons are huge. They are like Godzillas next to Chihuahuas in average. And they can certainly pass almost any life form that you can think of that exists in your body between bodies. And we've seen it under the microscope. I mean, not inside the body, but we've seen germs getting out to and into the portal. This is not science fiction. This was documented in this channel. Even big ones. Because they are freaking huge, the yellow ones, relative to the red ones. And there is no problem for them to be portals for... I mean, if your body is infected with the life form that cannot pass through the yellow neurons, it means that you're Bob Sponge. Or in the way to be Bob Sponge very soon. Because they are big. And they have no problem transferring germs. The good thing is that they are better in hack and slash. Tremendously better than the small ones. So you can ask, what are they doing? Are they transferring, what's their behavior? Do they transfer, things, life forms between each other, or are they doing the hack and slash? So honestly, I cannot give you an algorithm, because they can do both. I cannot give you an algorithm for their behavior inside the human body or any other body, because it's not a simple answer. In general, they think about the well-being of the organism, because they are not stupid. I mean, in general they think about the well-being of the organism that they exist inside of it. In general. But I cannot give you I cannot give you a complete algorithm of their behavior, and it might not be easy to do such a thing. And also this is affected by environmental conditions, and also this is affected by the bicycle mechanism, which allows cooperation between different neurons that exist in different containers. And the bicycle mechanism is the main mechanism of operation that predicates almost everything that the intelligence services are doing. They can work in tandem between different containers. That's how you transmit information between each other. You listen to something, and another person, in your team, I mean, hear those sounds. Like it's a way to transmit or to operate people without any cochlear chip or any other chip. And it works because of you share neurons, so they cooperate. I mean, so they do this. I mean, they imitate the same action. So this also, I mean, contribute to how they behave. And there's the issue of the symbolic language. Anyway, I've given you now some, I would say, the overview of things that are not included in the Robot Saga. So let's now continue replaying the Robot Saga.